Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about functional text. But before we do so, I wanted to point out a few of the text features that we talked about or was mentioned in other books or either in the articles that we've read so far. For example, see there is the heading, there is the caption. This is a text box. See the text box right here? Here is a next caption as well. We also have a picture or photograph. We have a graph here. A graph. Of course, you guys have been doing that in math, so you know what a graph is. It calculates how many people are doing what. In the case of this, who's eating all the ice cream, right? And what flavors they are eating in this way in this article right here. Then in this article, you have the title, the headings, of course, photographs, a text box, pictures, of course, and headings, a map at the top with a caption. See, all of those are text features. So like I said, today we were going to talk about another kind of nonfiction expository called functional text. And functional text, it helps readers to do things in everyday life. Things like street signs and maps and menus and recipes and lists and game directions, all that kind of stuff is called functional text. So today we are going to explore two types of functional text. And our first one is a recipe. This is a classic smoothie recipe. And at the top, you notice it says, a fruit smoothie is a special treat. It's easy to make too. You will need to prepare the fruit and put it into the freezer at least 2 hours before you make the fruit. Even though some people don't do that, this is their recommendation. And the side of the recipe, it will tell you the list of things that you would need. So for example, it says you will need a blender, a knife, a plate, a drinking glass, straws is optional, 1 cup of orange juice, 1 cup of fresh strawberries, and 2 fresh bananas. And there's a picture of a banana at the bottom. And on the right side, it tells you how to make the smoothie. So it's giving directions here. At least 2 hours before you want to make the smoothie, wash the strawberries, take out the stems, and cut the strawberries into quarters. Put them on a plate in the freezer. Then number 2 says peel and slice the bananas and put them on a plate in the freezer. Third direction says when you are ready to make the smoothie, pour the orange juice into a blender. The third step is what I meant to say. Then the fourth one says is to add the strawberries and the banana. Fifth step is to blend until it's smooth. And the sixth step is to pour into a glass and to add a straw and enjoy. If you look at this recipe, what makes it easy to follow? I realize it makes it easy to follow really is the steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That makes it easy to follow. What about if you missed a step? For example, you took something out. Would that be still a smoothie? Or would it be as good as it can be? Or taste as good as it can be? Just think about that. Now let's look at something else that is a functional text. Our second piece of functional text is some information about the city zoo. Look at the chart. Firstly, it tells you what time the zoo opens and closes. So it's open from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Then they give you two charts, the feeding times and the activity times. So for example, it tells you that the monkeys are being fed at 11 a.m. and that the lions are being fed at 3 p.m. They're listing all the animals and the time in which they're fed. Then you have the activity times. There is, for example, World of Bird Talk, 2 p.m. Look at the activity times chart. What makes it easy to follow? For one thing, the chart tells you when each activity begins. And you can tell the name of each activity and how long it is by just looking at the chart. The times are in order from earliest to latest. And putting each activity in its own box makes it easy to read this chart. So functional text, as I said, is text that helps a reader to do things in everyday life. So when you see functional text, you try to point them out, maps and menus and what else? Recipes. Well, today on Seesaw, you get to do a recipe. Go ahead and click on your activity and follow the directions.